Hey everybody, it's nice talking to you today. This is GW. It's been a while. It's been about a month since I've done one of these. I just got to tell you that I am hoping that this goes well and that everybody that happened to find this, I don't know how you find it, but every time you find it, it makes me feel good that I see another number that has come up. So anyway, please follow, subscribe, do whatever it is you got to do down below, and it's all good. Remember, this is GW, just a retired guy trying to make some sense in the world, trying to make some sense in what's type of activities he's doing. So it's going to be kind of three things I'm going to talk about today. One, this is always very self-centered. So I'm going to talk about how I spend my time. I'm going to talk about some of the yard struggles that I've had, and I'm going to talk about some thoughts about what the government's doing right now and why, and be interested to see what I say, because right now, other than a couple of bullet notes, that's all I've got written down on a piece of paper. So let's talk about, first of all, how I occupy my time. You know, the major thing that I do, other than sleep, I do sleep a lot, is I watch a lot of TV. I'm a little embarrassed to say that that's probably the majority of where I spend my time during the course of the 18 hours or so that I'm awake. Maybe 16 hours that I'm awake. So I watch TV most every night, and frequently for an hour or two in the afternoon while I'm up here in my office slash studio, since I'm doing this, and it's just a way to keep myself busy, keep myself. And I try to watch shows that are not just mindless entertainment. I try to watch shows that might actually make me think a little bit. Like sports. So what can I say? I like to watch sports. So I hope that doesn't surprise anybody, and I would think that there's many people out there like me that spend a lot of time doing that. Now the problem is that I feel a little guilty when I do that. I feel like that time from, like 9 o'clock at night to midnight when I go to bed, and that's 3 hours that I could probably better utilize that time doing something else. But I honest to God don't know what that would be, because I didn't spend my life developing hobbies. So all of you folks who have 14 different hobbies that you do, cars that you work on, woodworking that you do, all these things that occupy time and thought, well, good on you. But I'm basically couch potato watching my shows that I have taped during the day. A little embarrassed to say that. Now, I do continue to do podcasts, not this one, but another podcast, and that's by Son of a Preacher podcast by GW. And you can find that on any of pretty much any podcast platform that you might use. But that one has been going pretty good. I enjoy doing it. I've done it now for about 4.5 years. Got over 300 episodes that are out there. And that basically is me adapting my dad's sermons. I mean, he had 1,200 sermons that I inherited from him when he passed, and after quite a while, Don figured out that I could do those into a podcast and maybe keep his word alive a little bit. So I do that. I do a little bit of yard work and talk about that a little bit more. And then everything that I read says that the people who live the longest, they tend to stay active, and that doing a little bit of yard work every day, not 4 hours or something, but if you go out and you do a little weeding, do a little bending, do a little pulling, do a little this and that for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, that is good for you. So, I do a little bit of that, and hopefully that is good for me. But I need more. I need that special thing that I do from nine o'clock in the evening till midnight. Something to make my mind active, make myself just kind of keep working at it. Now, I did write one book, by the way. If you go into Amazon and search for Throwing Ink by G.W. Stark, that's Throwing Ink. And It was a book, inspirational type of book. It's almost a devotional that you could do. It has 30 different devotions, inspirations that are in there, and but it would be great, But Throwing Ink is the name of that. So I authored that, and at the time I did it, it kept me busy and everything. But I don't have that burning desire to sit down and write words that I want to put into a book. It's a little bit more effort than what I want to put down there. But I wish that somebody would kind of find the book and maybe make a comment about it and do whatever it is that you got to do. So now, what else do I do? Well, in the yard, you know, gosh, I use a 4-step program. It's one that has worked well for me in several houses that I've owned, and it basically is a summer, fall, winter, spring type of application, a product onto the lawn to make sure that everything is going to work okay. Now, this year we had so much rain in May and June that it was unbelievable how good everybody's lawn looked. I mean, we didn't turn on our irrigation systems until, July in some cases. And, just amazing how well that really worked. So I'm now sitting here with two issues. One, crabgrass has come in. I believe that I applied the crabgrass preventer that you're supposed to do before it sprouts. I believe that I applied it too late, and that is going to make it so that this is not going to work. It's too late to do it now. So I'm going out, and that time I spend in the yard, a lot of that is bending over and pulling up crabgrass. Not a lot of fun. Not a lot of fun at all. And it's my own darn fault that is happening. So I can't really say much other than it's my fault. And the other thing is battery powered tools. Now they come and they work. They work just fine. But the batteries that they put on them, you can buy a lightweight set of tools or you can buy a more heavy duty. If you buy the heavy duty one, it gets a big enough battery that you actually are able to do it. Now, I went and I got a hedge trimmer that was, the same company that I had gotten other stuff from. But, I went and I said, I don't have very many hedges. It doesn't do very good. So I'll just get this little one. Well, unfortunately, the battery that came with it is not sufficient. It just doesn't run very long before it powers out. So when I look at that and I go to the other batteries that I have, which fit this one and they're bigger, but my concern is that the amperage on there may burn out the motor on this little lightweight hedge trimmer that I got. So anyway, frustrating as I'm running back and forth getting batteries. Almost frustrating enough to start pulling the electrical cord out and using the old never runs out of power electric hedge trimmer. So, if that's the worst problem I have, how bad can that be? Can't be that bad. So let's see. I always try to talk a little bit about the government because, that's one of the main things that I have. I live in a very, very red state, and I am not a conservative person. I'm not a very liberal person. I've always thought of myself as being very much in the middle of the road. But in today's world, I am a very liberal person. And so I look at things that are going on in Washington, and I am just scratching my head. As you can see, there's not much hair left up there to scratch, but I'm scratching my head wondering what it is that is going on. First of all, firing the officials who is responsible for reporting the statistics of the government activities, the government efforts, reporting the statistics of what's happening inside the country. How many jobs did we do? How many, what is going on? the person who is responsible for counting those numbers, if there is nothing else that I am totally confident of, is that every person in that role has probably gotten pressure from the president to try to make his activities look as good as possible. But I don't think that they purposefully mislead the nation with what the statistics say. The numbers that they do are basic numbers. I mean, they're given to them, they add them up, they put them into whatever algorithm that they have to put it into, and it spits out the answer. And that's the answer. How in the world you can sit there and fire somebody because you didn't like the answer they gave them is just beyond me. I just do not understand that. And I don't know why Trump, as the president, I don't understand why the president is able to just arbitrarily do this to these positions that I know that some positions are political appointees and they serve at the will of the president. I understand that. But it's gobsmacking, as I sit there and look at that going, okay, so who are they going to get in there? And once they get them in there, how am I going to ever trust those numbers again? Because the person they put in there will have at some time or another said, I will make sure that these numbers properly reflect the president's wishes. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable to me. Second thing that we have going on right now is the redistricting of the House of Representatives district voting lines. Gerrymandering has been done forever. The fact that people, take a look at any big city and take a look at the way that they draw lines around, the big city. There's very seldom a long straight line. It's always jig-jagging around because they're trying to maximize what it is. Nothing new. That is nothing new. The fact that they're trying to do it, well, okay, it may be out of sequence as far as the time is not the 10-year mark that they traditionally go in there. But I guarantee you that every winning party has gone in and taken a look at those lines and to see how they can fix them. They're being a little more open. They're being a little more bold. They're being a little more, my gosh, what are you doing type thing. But the fact of the matter is that this type of action has gone on forever. And when eventually the Democrats win back the House and the Senate and all that happens, there will be a swing on that and they will go back and they will rewrite them again. And this is just nothing new. Nothing new. It's frustrating. It's hugely frustrating, but it's nothing new. And then the last one is the posturing that we have going on right now with Russia. And let's send our nuclear subs over there. And Russia is now positioning their nuclear forces. And now, you have the leader of the United States and you have the leader of Russia who are now basically just kind of, okay, who's going to blink first? Really, really. I mean, this is so unnecessary, so risky. And in all honesty, neither leader is the most calm person I have ever been able to listen to do a political speech. The fact that neither one of them is able to have a story that they start with and they stay with is just scary. So it's been an interesting few months as we sit here with the political thing. So that's about 15 minutes worth of stuff of everything that I know and probably a little bit more. And I hope you all enjoyed that. Remember that I'm GW, retired, bored, trying to keep myself occupied. And this is what I found to do this afternoon. So I truly hope you all enjoyed it. I kind of enjoy doing this. I get a little frustrated by the end of doing this, but that is just because having to put some of these things into words is hard. So anyway, bear with me. I'll do this again here when in a week or so, and I hope you enjoyed it. Follow, subscribe. Remember GW. Remember the Son of a Preacher podcast by GW that you can find on any type of podcast platform. Thanks a lot.